We're here live from ISTE 2015, and I am with Tim Ridgway from Califone. How are you today?
Hey Jeff, how are you? Good to see you.
It is so good to see you. If it is ISTE, it must be time to talk to Califone. What is the latest and greatest these days?
We are so excited about all the different applications that technology is opening up for learning, especially mobile this year, and mobile being everything from the devices themselves to providing the accessibility for the audio that supports it as well. So a lot of different things.
Now when you say mobile, we of course have classrooms that are BYOD, they're all Chromebook, they're all iPad. What should a teacher be looking for when they're looking at mobile?
From an audio perspective, first of all, something that should be safe. And safe can be a lot of different applications. It's going to be making sure the ambient noise is blocked. It's making sure that kids are learning what too loud is. That's a big, big concern. It could be making sure that the budget is maintained and that's something that's reasonably affordable. So it's a number of different facets.
I want to pick up on that. When you're saying loud, talk to us about loud. What is loud when it comes to an elementary student, and is loud differently when you're talking about a 16-year-old?
The average rate that the American Society for Speech and Hearing Association, OSHA, the European Union, and other regulatory agencies have said 85 decibels is about the average limit to what someone can normally sustain. Now that applies to whether you're a young kid, a 16-year-old, or even as adults. What is more difficult about it is that people don't realize that hearing loss, while sometimes temporary, it can build up to be eventually permanent. So that's why 85 dB is kind of set as a guideline, and for no more than 20 minutes, half an hour, trying to limit the sessions. Putting that into context, an average classroom with just the ballast running, the air conditioner, that kind of thing, that's about 35 to 40 decibels right off the bat. So you're already halfway up that spectrum, so to speak.
So when we're looking at headphones, we hear terms like noise canceling, we hear earbuds, we hear headsets, we hear headphones. Can you give us a little bit of an education on what we're looking at, what these different terms mean?
Great idea. Noise reduction is in two different forms. There's active noise reduction, which requires circuitry, batteries, and it's going to be more expensive. That's the higher end consumer things that you've heard of. Most classrooms don't have the budget to spend $150, $200 per headphone. So what the alternate is passive noise cancellation. So really what that means is simply an ear cup that would go around the ear or on the ear in some way, shape, or form. The ideal is to have something that goes around the ear because it masks more of the sound. It can block up to 85% of the ambient noise depending on how the ear cup fits, which is why headphones should fit snugly to block out that external noise. And by doing that, it helps keep the kids more on task, less distractions, and then they won't be as motivated to turn the volume up. So an on-ear or around the ear is going to be best. On the ear is still effective, it still blocks sound. The least effective at blocking sound from a safety perspective is going to be an earbud. Fitting in the ear, it may be hipper, it may be less expensive, certainly, but the trade-off is it's not going to block as much sound, but it's going to be more affordable.
And what should we look for in an earbud? I mean, there's form-fitting ones, there's little cups, there's so many different solutions out there. Some are cheap, some are expensive. What are we looking for here?
The range is just like buying a car.
Right.
You can get it with a series of stair-stack options, which may fit more needs, or if budget's going to be a different concern, you're going to have to strip away some of those options. Again, from our perspective, we want to make sure that safety is as big of a concern, so that's why we'll put a one-year warranty on these earbuds, which I'm not aware of anybody else who's doing that. From a functionality perspective, we'll use a flat cord, which won't get as tangled as readily. It still has a microphone, but
and these would be great for classroom sets, for any of the standardized testing that kids are doing these days. All of this stuff, you have the budget for the audio, right?
Exactly, and it's something that I think districts may from time to time look initially, they'll focus on the tablet or the hardware itself and then realize after the fact, oh, we can't have an entire classroom of kids listening to their own devices without any kind of audio blocking it. So it helps on the front end to consider that.
Now, I want to ask you about a couple of things. So we've got a number of devices here because we're very mobile on TeacherCast. This device here is a Surface, and it comes with a little kickstand, and it has a keyboard that goes along with it. But this guy here, it's kind of flat, and I have this case that kind of acts as a stand, but it doesn't quite do what I need it to. What happens if I have a bunch of these and I need to take a standardized test?
Sure. Two different things. The first is making sure you understand what the port is on whatever the device. On this unit, I've looked on mine, and I keep looking and looking, and I've yet to see a USB port on it. So that's a common mistake, and so we try and make sure that people are educated about what the right plug would be. So this is going to be a single plug that they're going to use to connect into that fruit device.
Okay.
There are others like the Surface that rely on a choice of either that single 3.5 plug or the USB. So making sure that connection is possible is going to be the best single step that people can take to making sure that the headphone or earbud works with whatever the device is.
Are there solutions that are both? Is it possible to be both digital and is it analog? Is that the
No,
idea?
this could still be digital as well. I would recommend the 3.5 millimeter.
Okay.
Is going to be a little more universal. Certainly on an iOS system, there are some devices that have just that single port, while maybe this unit, your laptop, your Mac is going to have both. So it does return to making sure people see what the port is first, and then they can decide which type of headphone they want to listen to after that.
Excellent. And what is this thing over here that we have?
Well, that's another part of the accessibility that I was excited to hear you ask about. This is a simple tablet stand. It could even work with some of the larger smartphones. If you put it down, you'll see it just is
That's kind of cool.
perfect.
And then for there, if you wanted to use that keyboard, you certainly have that option.
And this gets back to the mobility again. This is a Bluetooth keyboard that readily connects with any type of device that has Bluetooth in it. And so for someone who's talking about testing again, everybody knows there's a certain minimum requirement for screen size. You can't see the virtual keyboard on here because it takes, or you can't use it because it takes too much of the screen. So by utilizing a keyboard, it preempts that and you have full access typing. So the mobility, the portability is there while fulfilling all the requirements, the technical requirements for the testing.
Now, I noticed that usually here at ISTE, when we go to the Califone booth, there's a pool, a tub. Did you bring that this year?
The tub didn't make it
The
this
tub
year.
didn't make it to Philly? Oh.
But we're giving it the same bath treatment, and I know you're talking about our washable headphones, the titanium headphones and headsets, and they're ingenious. That they're the first ones that people can literally put into a dishwasher or a sink of soapy water if headphones become too grimy. Certainly, we've all seen those classrooms where kids are handling the same headphones a lot, and it needs to be refreshed.
Now, in a setup like this, so let me see if I can pull out, with all this equipment here, quite frankly, I need to be able to take this audio and push it out to the masses. And I see you have a box over here. What is this thing?
This box is a brand new portable PA that we're excited about because it's the first one that has both NFC and Bluetooth.
NFC?
NFC is near field communications. It's like a next generation Bluetooth. And it's more on a transactional basis now, but what it enables you to do is take out your phone and by waving it over, it's as quick as syncing it that way.
And that works on most phones?
On many phones. Some of the iPhone 6 has NFC. It's the first one that does from Apple. Samsung and many others have it as well. It's, I'd say, coming up and coming technology.
So with all these great solutions, how do we get them? Are these purchases that a teacher could make, or do I have to go to my administrator and say, I'd like to get a a nice, stand for my iPad?
Either or. We have a lot of resellers who proudly serve districts, and that's the recommended route. It's very, very handy and accessible.
Where can we find you? What's your website?
Califone.com.
Excellent.
And here at ISTE is booth 2220.
If you are here at ISTE, certainly check them out. Great stuff, great products. If you guys have watched any of the TeacherCast shows, you'll see that I've been wearing Califone headphones for the last couple of years. They are fantastic. Tim, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, Jeff.
And I look forward to seeing you in Denver next year.
Absolutely.
We'll be back more from live at TeacherCast. We're here at ISTE 2015.